So that's been very important in terms of getting day 6 away. And that's why I was not worried about the whole thing of doing your phrase research. Because honestly, that's why I said if you took through till day 28 to find a phrase that works, you'd be fine. You could still complete the challenge. Now, I'm not recommending that as a strategy by any stretch of the imagination, but it is absolutely a crucial part of the process. So, very excited for the launch of WordPress Direct today. We're going to talk a lot about that. Again, there are so many more thousand of you who are completely new, who have arrived literally over the last 24 hours. And to you, I say a huge welcome. What's this crazy thing you've landed into? Well, let's just say that if you want a quick start in terms of what you should do, here's my recommendation. People are asking me, should you do pre-season? Should you do start from day 1? Should you jump in wherever? Well, here's my answer. We did a cheat sheet video for you, and in fact, we've even got a cliff notes of the cheat sheet video that is up in the pre-season section. Shannon Cole's there, I think. He could probably pop up a link if you are new and wondering what the heck this is all about. So you can grab that cheat sheet, watch that video, and then I would be jumping straight into day 1. You may have to go backwards and forwards to the pre-season. That's fine. That's alright. You may have a little bit of extra work here and there, but overall it's fine because, as I keep saying, we're done. This is the hardest part of this whole thing is over. Everything else is so much easier now. It's just a matter of doing the steps and working through. There's no technological requirements. There's no more funny terms to understand. Nothing. It's just a way of promoting. And as I keep emphasizing, we changed the game a bit yesterday, and for veteran, this is more aimed at veterans with day 6, because I think we're showing, and it's not for the first time, other people have done that. In fact, the fabulous Michelle McPherson was the first person I noticed who was using social networking techniques to get rankings for their own blogs on their own domains. And we are certainly going to be doing that all guns blazing. And this is what's cool about it. You're building an asset with that little WordPress Direct blog that you create and you fill with content and eventually attract traffic and links to. You are going to build an asset that you could sell at the end of the 30-day challenge. If you get traffic, if you've done your phrase research right and you've done your competition research right, you will get traffic. And you will have created yourself an asset, which is just brilliant. It's something that you can literally sell. If you did nothing else, you would create that as an asset. The key to it, and this is as we move from the infrastructure and the market research to generating and creating traffic, is that you just need to make sure that the content is good. And we showed you on day 5 just the simplest and easiest way to use content so that you can reposition that content and become a newsmaster to your particular niche by grabbing stuff from feeds, by using the Market Samurai content finder tool to be able to be right across your particular niche. It's very cool. So that's why I'm not panicked. The other reason, of course, is that from now on we have rest days where you can catch up. Well, there'll be no new content and you just have the ability to catch up. So we've driven you hard for these first few days, but very shortly you'll have a rest day, which is fantastic. Now, overnight, and why does this happen to us every year? I don't get it. It's a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. It just happens to be, I think, when overall traffic in the world is actually, particularly in the United States, is lowest in August because everybody's out enjoying the summer sun. I think Harmonic Barb is out at the beach at this point in time before she comes back to join us for the after party. So if that was the case, then traffic's at its lowest. So it's always a good time of year for Google to launch new services. And of course they launched a doozy overnight. the I think it's called Google Insider, but it's basically a huge replacement of the Google Trends tool. And let me tell you folks, this tool is nothing short of astounding. It is absolutely fantastic. For the first time using Google data, you're seeing a marriage between demographics and pay-per-click keyword and phrase traffic. There are two very different types of marketing. I talked about this last year with Facebook, and when we did the Facebook course inside Immediate Edge. People were making the mistake in Facebook of trying to market using phrase marketing, phrase matching marketing, which is what we're doing here. That's what we're learning right now. Fancy name, but that's what we're doing. We're focusing marketing around phrases. If you do that in Facebook, you'll get killed. It'll be a complete waste of time, because all of the data and all of the interesting data on Facebook is demographic based data. In other words, I want to speak to people who vote Conservative and also are aged between 45 and 54, are male, and their favourite movie was Lord of the Rings. It's a completely different marketing style. But what's very cool is Google's now provided you information on both. So who knows where that is going to lead. That's got the lab all hot and bothered, and if it wasn't for the 30-day challenge, we'd be looking at that all over. However, what that has meant, and of course, and this is why the external keyword tool has been so funky over the last few days, is of course they've had to completely repopulate their databases. So as that rolls out over the world, over to the hundreds, somebody might be able to pop up here exactly how many data centers they have. But your Google is different to my Google, which is different to Dan's Google, which is different to Ines. And a big shout out too, by the way, to Ines, who's left Canada and arrived in Manchester for the 30-day challenge. So a big hello, Ines. Stay away from all those Manchester mob boys. They're dangerous. But as these data centers roll out, the external keyword tool is going to get funky, and coincidentally, so is Market Samurai, and you're going to get a lot of results. And you're going to see, in fact, you'll see that screen coming up saying that the Google external keywords return 0 results, even though you know it's something that has actually returned results. And it's very frustrating, let me tell you. Happened to me yesterday as my data center that I usually access was going through the update, and it took hours. Like, imagine how much data they have to go and add in, and what's the appropriate database term? Is it I can't pronounce it. Concatenate? I can't pronounce C. I have no, Dan's laughing at me. Yeah. Ha ha ha, fancy pants database people. That word. Thank you, Dan. Yes, that word that Dan wrote in the chat window, that's what they're doing. And that's a big job, believe it or not. And so that concatenate, is that how you do it? Concatenate. They're concatenating. And after they do that, they have a cigarette and move on with their lives. But the point is that the Google keyword data has been funky. And the way to test this, because I'm seeing a lot of, and I'm frankly starting to get a little bit bored of, folks, a little bit bored of people saying, Market Samurai is not working. The first thing you should do is immediately go to the Google external keyword tool and type the same phrase in there and have a look to see if it's working there. If indeed you're getting your data back there, then it is indeed a Market Samurai problem, and you should get in touch with the Noble Samurai boys, and their customer service has been nothing short of completely superb. They will be back to you in a very short time, and they'll let you know what's going on. Plus there's a huge knowledge base of things that they know are problems, and indeed workarounds to those sorts of issues. So please, first, before you throw your hands up and say, oh, Market Samurai is not working, go check your external keyword tool, because Google has rolled out this incredible, massive, and this is good news, folks, make no mistake, huge good news. They're rolling out this massive rollout, which is just beautifully timed for the start of the 30-day challenge. Darn it. So that's the meta things, what's been happening. Now, there is going to be a percentage of people, fortunately tiny, that will have a problem with Market Samurai for whatever reason. They've got an old computer or whatever the problem is. Now, with that as an issue, I don't want to see. You will make me sleepy if I see, oh, Market Samurai's not working, I can't go on with the challenge. That is such a cheap and easy cop-out. It's rubbish. On both days of Market Samurai, we showed you the traditional way to do the keyword research and to do the competition research. We showed you both days. So just move on. Leave Market Samurai to one side and just do the keyword research. At the end of the day, all you need to bring into day 6 are, 4 phrases related to some sort of sub-market? That's it. That's it. 4 phrases. That's all we want. And in fact, what I'll be doing very shortly is just making you choose some phrase. Because it's insane for you to jump out and because you just can't seem to find anything. You should just pick anything and go forward with the process. Because you'll be astounded what happens when you plug those phrases into the WordPress Direct blog. I mean, you'll absolutely be stunned. And nothing may happen, but at least you go through the process. At least you work through and you can keep researching and finding stuff in the background. Because here's the thing. Once you find the market, and there are hundreds of thousands of markets out there, so you will again make me very sleepy, which is not hard at the moment. Pardon me. If you don't find a market somewhere, you just continue on and you continue to do it. Because, as I said to you way at the start, and maybe now you're starting to see why, you'll be able to, if you come across a market, you'll be able to exploit that market and have something up and running and having impact in a few hours. Certainly 24. Just with a little bit of work. So that is what you need to do. Now, we've talked rest days. We've talked Market Samurai 0 results. Now, again, questions and answers for people. Again, we've also talked about if you're new, what to do, which is, of course, make sure you do that. Look at the cheat sheet video in pre-season and then get into day 1. That's the best way to do it. Okay, now, what, don't worry, Michelle, I did not make fun of you. I gave you respect. Alright, so, I think what we might do is, if you could put up, thank you, Caro, in perfect timing. You must have sensed where I was going. If you throw up the Q&A section, we'll go to that, and then we'll get we'll do a bit more of an extended question and answer period today, because really you need to get into just making these blogs and doing these things. So if you've got WordPress Direct questions, or Market Samurai questions, or 30-day challenge questions, Olympics questions, whatever you want to take, we'll get a hold of them. All right, so quick show, because they're not going to all be long. So we will be back. We'll have our 5-minute traditional break, and then we'll be back with questions and answers. Okay, speak to you shortly.